Can you introduce yourself to me? So give me your name, age, where you're from, and how long you've been in Malta.
My name is Precious, and I'm from Nigeria. I'm 31 years old, and on the 14th, I will be 31. And I've been in Malta for 8 years now.
Okay. What inspired you to come to Malta? Why did you decide to come here?
Actually, I did not decide to come to Malta because I came by boat. So the boat that was taking me to Italy have to call for help when I was having contraction in the boat. So they thought I was going to give birth. In order for me not to give birth in the rescue ship, as they were not having all the necessary equipment, they decided to call for help, and Malta came to rescue me.
Oh, wow.
At that time, they did tell me that I was going to get to Italy ahead of the other people coming with the boats. Like, they told me I would be there early in the morning.
Okay.
And then I woke up in Malta day, I was like...
Oh, so you expected to stop in Italy and you just woke up in Malta. Wow, that must have been very intense for you.
It was not that intense for me to find myself waking up in Malta because I did not know where I was.
Okay.
I was in the hospital and I asked, where are we? He said, Malta. At that time, I just thought it was a city in Malta. It was like weeks passed, and then a social worker mentioned, do you like it here in Malta, or you want to go somewhere? I was like, what? Is Malta a city in Italy, or what is it? It's a country? Oh my God, I've not heard of Malta before.
Don't worry, you're not the first. So can you share a bit about your journey to Malta? So you said you got here by boat and you're from Nigeria, right? How many countries did you have to cross through?
I did not come directly. I didn't start my journey directly from Nigeria. Even though the original reason why I left Nigeria was actually to travel to Europe. However, as every other ladies that leaves home, with the trick that, oh, you have to come with us, and they take you to Europe. So I find myself in Burkina Faso instead of Europe. And I was quite fortunate that the lady that I met in Burkina Faso, she really see me like I was too small to be able to work for her, because she said she has kids now. She used to do the same job that the girls do there, selling their body. But then when she got married and have kids, she only brought girls from Nigeria to do the job for her, and they pay her. But she can't do the work anymore because she's a married woman. But I was too small even, so she told me, so she don't know what I'm going to do. She will send me to her sister in the village.
Okay.
So she sent me to her sister in the village, and the lady told me, oh, I can help her do something. They used to take good care of me, to be honest. And, and after some time, I ran from there. Okay. I went to the city again, and I stayed with some Nigerian women, some Yoruba lady, some of them was nice, some of them was very horrible, and they are both Yorubas too. And it was my first time actually leaving my state to another state and to another country that they speak French, no English. It was, oh wow, it was a problem. And after some time, when they saw another lady that said, oh, she was going to Ivory Coast, and because I became a burden, to be honest, and I don't know, they just speak their language and said, faut prendre elle venir avec toi. Take her with you. And I don't know what they are talking about. And she told me, oh, you can go with her. And I actually went with her just to realize that after about 2 days that I was in another country.
Oh, wow, okay.
And they speak French there as well. It was a bit difficult for me to understand that I was in another country because they both speak French. But then I kind of know the lifestyle, because the Burkinabés, they live extravagant lifestyle, and then the Ivorians, they live very much like Nigerians, proud for nothing, and the police was a bit different in that the police, they were as corrupt as the one we have in Nigeria, unlike Burkina's, when their police don't take bribe. Okay. So then they told me, this is Ivory Coast, and it was good that I actually went to Ivory Coast because from there, I managed to start learning a bit of French, and I also saw some Nigerians that were in my situation, and they told me, oh, they can actually get some things from Nigeria, and you sell them here. It's quite easy to live here, though the means of living is hard. So Like, you don't make much money. Like in Burkina, I made my money not because I worked. You can just see somebody that can actually give you money.
Help you. Okay.
Because they see you like, oh, this one, you want to show off.
Okay, so it wouldn't be help. It would just be
Yeah.
that they would want to show off.
Yes, but to me it was beneficial.
Yeah.
And you get free ride, especially since I'm small. So they, oh, petit model, petit model. So I have to struggle when I was in Ivory Coast. Everybody are struggling. Even the one you have, they want to take. And I started doing their goat business, going with the villages with them. And since I was the only Nigerian lady that was doing the job, it was very much beneficial. Okay. Because when I wanted to start, they didn't believe that I want to. So they told me, yeah, you can't do this, it's too small. Then I lose a lot of Nigerian female friends because
you wanted to study?
No, because I want to work,
real
job.
Okay.
But then, first of all, even if I've decided to join them to do the prostituting job, nobody's going to take me. They said I was on that age, I was too small. Okay. So it was not an option for me at that time. And now that I have this option, it was a very hard work because going in the bush, there are no houses. You have to literally get a plot of land. You build it with plastic bag, and in Ivory Coast it was a bit hard because as a female they don't allow you to go in where there's the real gold where you actually need to dig.
Okay.
They won't allow you to go. What you only do is to wait for the men to do the digging, even though they are very lazy to do it. And then you just help them to take what they brought out, to take it to the machine.
Okay.
It was hard.
And how long did you do working
that? I did that for around 6 months. 6 months,
okay.
But it was too much.
And what made it so hard for you?
Because, first of all, we were not making a lot of money. In Ivory Coast, there is a particular person that will come to buy the place. Then, since he's not the owner of the place, you have to sell your gold according to his own price. And you know how much for 1 gram of gold when you take it to the market at that time?
How much?
At that time, they were selling up to about 1,000 francs CFA.
Okay.
You know, not the raw one after they've make it into something from goat's meat. So only God knows how much if you take original one to a goat's meat. So, and then they'll give you like 100 francs CFA, 200 francs CFA for a day work because they buy you food. So after I save up, I traveled with my friends to Mali.
Okay.
So it was from Mali I became pregnant and I decided to leave. In Mali, it was very beneficial because in less than 6 months, we became the boss of the place, make a lot of money because I was able to dig on my own. When I still have some pictures when I was inside the hole. So when I dig and the hole is higher than me and I can't. So I had a man can come inside. And then you can also pay somebody to come and help you to be dragging out, like they're dragging something from the well, take it on the machine. You can sell anywhere you want. So in Mali, it was very free because the Malians themselves, they were doing the job. So nobody can come to tell them, we're going to buy here. It's their own land. It's different from Ivory Coast where the Ivorians, they know nothing about gold. So it's the Burkinabés that come or the Malians and buy the place. So when I became pregnant, it was a bit hard for me because since I was not, I don't know how the rumor came out that I left from Ivory Coast because I did not want to work. And the Nigerians, my fellow Nigerian females there, at first when I came, they liked me because they realized that I was going to do this job. It was a dirty job. I was too small, and I don't want to work. Now I'm pregnant. It became a problem because if you said you don't want to prostitute and now you're pregnant and you are not married, well, are you better than us?
Okay.
So that was the problem. Like, I told them, like, they felt, how are you better than us? So they started mocking me a lot.
Oh, wow.
And looking at the condition of that place, I've never stayed in the capital of Mali. So I said, no, I don't want to give birth to my child here. First of all, there's no hospital, so I'll have to give birth just anyhow. There's no hospital, there's no doctor. And even if I have to go to the hospital, that means I'll have to go to the city, which would take like a day or two. So I saw a child that was born there. It was hell. So that was how the journey started. The journey of Libya started. My journey started from Libya, from Mali to Libya.
Okay. And what year was this?
That was I came here 2017. That was 2016.
Okay. Okay.
So it took another 1 year to arrive in Malta. So it was approximately 2 years from Nigeria.
Oh my God.
All the time from Nigeria until I arrived here was approximately 2 years. So it took from where I was in Mali with my ex, the father of the child. We decided to travel to Libya. From there, we went to the capital city, Bamako. From there, we got a bus ticket to, I think it's a place called, I don't know, one other city in Mali as well. So it was from that city they told us that there is two routes that we can take, but it's very hard, and it was from there the problem started.
Okay, in what way?
Because first they will try to separate the ladies from the men. And the goal for that is that when they separate the lady, they're going to sell the lady.
Sell?
Yes, they can trade them to someone else. Like when I went to Burkina Faso, the lady that took me has felt that I was of age to be able to prostitute for her, and if I refuse, she might just sell me to someone else. The person will pay her and she take, and you have to work and pay for the person. So that was basically what those other girls were doing. There was a lot of girls there that.
So they were being sold for prostitution, and you refused to do. Well, first the first lady said she didn't want you to work for her like that.
Yes, and then she took me to a sister. So if she was if she was a bad person, because I've seen some people who tell them you have to do some ritual. Even when I was on the road before I got to Burkina, we stopped at in a city in Ibadan in Nigeria called Chaki. It's the boundary between Benin Republic and Nigeria.
Okay.
That place, I met a lot of people, a lot of girls coming and going. Some of them, they told me, this person that is taking them asked them to do some ritual. I told them, because it was 3 of us that led me, a little girl and a guy. Then the girl asked me, did they ask us to do something? I said, no, the lady did not ask us to do anything like that. So it depends on who actually is taking them. So.
Yeah. So and then you got to Mali, and then you started
I started my journey.
Your journey there, and you said there was problems because then this situation has to happen. I guess.
Because now they wanted to separate me from the father of the baby. Then at that time it seems like a good idea, but then when we started to listen to other people and other the locals that are there, because since we were going on our own, we were not going with somebody that we've paid to take us, like usually that's what they're doing. You just pay somebody that let me take you to so-and-so place, to Libya, for example. So we were going on our own. We were just stopping wherever the spirit leads us. We get to this place, we ask where is the next journey, and they take us. That was how we get to Libya. From there, we managed to negotiate with them, and the trouble started. At the time we arrived in Kidal, between the Arab side of Mali, there was a war at that time in Mali.
Okay.
Where the Arab, they wanted to cut off from the Mali.
Okay.
From the Malians. That was actually how the struggle started. From there, some women, they get missing from there, not knowing what happened. And they have to literally pack everybody in one truck.
Oh my God. How many people would this be in one truck?
Maybe like 200, 150
wow.
in one big truck. Like everybody would just be throwing up on each other.
Oh my God.
So we managed to endure with the hope that as soon as we get to Libya, everything will be fine. We just going from one checkpoint to another. This is a time of war, civil war, obviously, it's not us. We have to be coming down. it got to a point where all of them, they have to give me their money to hold it because they feel that at the checkpoint, they're not going to search me since I was pregnant and I was a lady.
Okay.
And I think it was the fasting period came that time, so they couldn't search me. And that was exactly what I was doing. I keep their money. When we get to before we finally get to the boundary between Algeria and Libya, some of the people from Guinea-Conakry, those that were below 18 years of age, their military was there at that time, so their military took them back. Then the ones that was above that are willing to actually go back home, their military took them back, so we'll be a lesser people. Okay. So it makes the truck a bit comfortable, like less crowded. And from there, we thought, oh, things are getting better. We finally arrived, the truck stopped, and they told, oh, we arrived in Algeria. And as soon as we came down from the truck, those that already know the journey, they started fleeing into the desert. We did not know why. Though someone actually dragged me to run with them.
Oh, wow.
And unfortunately for me, I was not alone. The father of my baby, even though his mate was running, he just saw a gate. He just went inside because he wanted to go ask for a cigarette. So, so that was where the trouble started. Okay. Because that particular place that he entered is a no-go area. It's a place where the truck, sometimes when the truck is coming, they've already contacted the people in that place that our truck is coming. So it's a business. They're telling the truck is coming. And that's the worst route in Algeria. They call them, that is Deb-Deb. Deb-Deb. No, Deb-Deb is in Algeria. That is Timian Wheel. Okay. They call it. That is the worst. It's two routes that they normally pass. That is the worst. Because when you get there, anything can happen there. Okay. You can enter in that building and never come out for the rest of your life because maybe they just shoot you and look for somewhere to throw you, and that's all. So when I had...
And who would this be? Would this be the military? Would this be the police?
And to shock you the most, sorry, the shock part of it is our fellow black. Oh, wow. The Arab doesn't have that conscience, to be honest. Wow. An Arab person cannot really do anything to a black, except during fight, obviously. So all the troubles that we had in the journey that we are having in Algeria is because of we black. Because now the black, they've bought many of the Algerians. And that's the one they call the mafia. You know, they work with the black person. They are not the boss of their own. Their boss is the black man. It's always a black man. And to shock you the most, majority of those their boss are from Nigeria. Oh, wow. So, wow. So I had no choice than to go. When we went inside, I saw another Nigerian girl there, another girl from Ghana. They were there. She looked like she was living her best life because she was selling food inside there. But then at night, she told me, look, find a way to get money and move from here. Okay. Then that evening, they literally just turned somebody upside down and hung his leg because he could not pay the money to take him out from there.
And was this somebody that was with you during the journey beforehand, or he was just there already when you had arrived?
With us during the journey. It was quite nice to us, but he can't pay. And that place, you can literally, they can just show you around and tell you, they can just tell you, oh, those clothes there, this person, they just shoot this person here, that was there, he bleeded and he died. They just like, those that have stayed a bit long, there is just a normal part of them. And they just keep saying, you don't know who is next. And that lady, she was there cooking. I think she was dating the guy. She thought everything is well for her. And then she told me, do not sleep at night. Don't. So literally, even when I was falling asleep because of the pregnancy, she does her best to wake me up. And then there was the other of her friends. She said they were related. they literally took it turn to make sure that I did not sleep at night.
Wow.
Because they told me that if you sleep at night, you can wake up somewhere else. Either you've been raped to death, if you manage to wake, or that's if you manage to wake up, it's that you've been raped to nonsense. But if you are still alive, but in most cases, you're not going to wake up at all because it will be a lot of people. So I literally stayed awake, and the father of my baby sold our phone. We paid them to take us where? To take us to the, like a few meters to another place.
Oh, and it was the same type of place?
Worse than.
Oh, God.
this.
And so how long did you spend in this first
Just one
place?
night.
One night.
Well, that's because we did pay. If you did not pay, you stay there as long as you managed to pay. Then they will take you to the other quarter. So it was a quarter to quarter. Then that particular quarter, they have male and female. Male quarters and female quarters. Then I insisted that I have to sleep with them in the male quarters with the rest males. So they told me, no, you're going to sleep here. I said, somebody is going to rape me in the midst of this crowd. It's not possible. Then once they managed, after enough pressure, I went. They asked me to come to take a shower and change my clothes. Because the guy was in Nigeria, he was very persuasive. I did went there, but then something was off. Before I leave, I do have it. From that place, I started taking stabbing knife with me.
What, sorry?
Started taking a small knife with me, sharp one, two-edge knife. It was the lady that actually lended it to me. And it was very useful. I was almost going to put it to use when I get there. Because when I get there, they actually told me to come and take a shower, but they insisted that I have to stay. When I tell you, stay, do this, eat this. And I saw other girls there. They felt comfortable, they look comfortable. But then, because the other lady, they brainwashed me for that night before I lived there that, look, even if they are giving you heaven and earth here, you don't have a phone to call your family. Is that your destination? How long are you going to stay there? So no matter the paradise you might think you're going to be living there, of what use is it? Because that's where your life ends, basically. And at any given time, they can just throw you in the middle of nowhere. Oh. And so when I got there, I actually saw those ladies there. They were looking good with human hair. But then, how long have you been here? Oh, 3 years. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Are you not crossing? Oh, empty promises. They give them empty promises. They do the house chores. They were like there for free sex. So, and then I told them, I'm not sitting. I'm not in the shower. Forget it. I don't smell bad. The shower, I'm not taking. And that it became a problem for them to open the gate and let me go because it was a fenced apartment. So that was when we were dragging, let me go, I just have to drag it out and choop in the hand of one of them.
Oh, wow.
And then they started, I don't know what they were saying. So during the chaos, they called for backup. I don't know how they did it because there was no phone. They were not holding any phone. Before I knew it, there was a backup from the gate. I just have to run past them and go back to the minister.
And these were all men, so that they were trying
Those ones that came in, they were men. They opened the gate full force. They run past me to go and ask what was happening, why I just passed through them and go back to where I was coming from. And luckily, it was midday afternoon, so there was still a lot of people.
Okay.
So the guy that was insisted that I come, I told me, what happened? I said, nothing happened. I already just cleaned the knife from there and put it back where it was. They're not going to search me.
Search you.
Because
so you had to use your knife and literally run away?
Obviously, I have to. I used it twice. On the journey, I used it twice.
You had to.
So and then he told me, what happened? I said, no, nothing happened. You didn't take a shower anymore. I said, no, I'm good. So I have to call my parents from home at that time. I called my cousin. My cousin sent them some money. I was not sure how much my cousin sent them exactly, but I think it should be up to 100 or 50,000 francs CFA. No, then it became an Algeria dinner. Okay. Because when we get to Algeria, we couldn't use francs CFA. So it was like approximately like 50,000 or 100,000 Algeria dinner. I'm not sure. It was not enough for them.
Not enough.
It was not enough. So, who am I going to call? Am I going to call my family that I left home without telling them? But then I had no choice. I have to call my family.
Yeah.
After about 2-3 days, they managed to send them money. Till now, they still won't tell me how much they sent.
Oh.
So I couldn't eat anymore for those 3 days. As soon as I just paid in the money, they told me, guys, you guys are going to Tamaracet this evening. Tamaracet is the final place you get. They said, no, that we're supposed to get to before finally traveling to Libya. Suppose.
Okay.
But I could not eat all that night. We left in the middle of the night, maybe like 1 a.m. in the morning.
And did people come and pick you up in trucks, or did you just
They just tell you to come out in the middle of the desert, and they put you in a bus, like a sardine, compress as many as they could in it. Some will have to hold the body of the bus. But then with the hope that we're going to Tamaracet, at least even if we can't go to Libya from Tamaracet, we know that Tamaracet is a big place in Algeria, and you can get a job, you can do what you want, you meet another black, you can even decide to go back home, you know. So it was better than being in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then after daybreak, when the night started fading away, they have to discharge everybody from the bus, and the bus just turn back to where it was coming from. We're in the middle of the desert.
Oh my God.
And this time the pregnancies.
So how many months pregnant were you at this point?
I was like 2 months when I left. So at this point the pregnancy was like 3.
All right, so you're growing and growing.
Yeah, all the vomiting is coming and all the tiredness is coming. Because from the first stage is just sleep, vomit, sick, but from 3 months it's a lot of vomit. And I've not eaten for a day before, and now we're in the middle of the desert with nothing. So after we get tired of walking, we met a truck, we asked them, and they told us, we are not even anywhere close to Tamaracet. The village that we're going to get to, that village is like we have 150 kilometers from where we were to get to that village.
Oh my God.
And then at the mention of that, somebody just fell down. He was a guy. That was the end of him. He just thought that you're not going to look back. Just let him there.
Yeah.
And then my partner just go and take the water from him, and that's all. Just keep on going. And then we saw another truck. This time it was an Arab person. That time we don't know what is mafia.
Okay.
So for me, my instinct told me that we should not take it. But then my partner, he was already complaining. I have to give him all the food I had because he was on my neck. I have to collect all the things he was carrying. He was complaining like a newborn. He can't do this. I said, you can't do this. I'm from Nigeria, 13 years old, they do cross this road. You can do it. So it was healthy going with somebody that is worse than a 3-year-old, than a toddler with the pregnancy.
Held you back.
So we have to spend the remaining money that we had, and we took the van. The van just go round. After about 2-3 minutes, it just drop us through, and vroom. From there again, they told us, oh no, now they see we are still like 150 kilometers to the next village. So basically, he didn't go anywhere. He just moved around the circle. And 150 kilometers now, with no water, with no money, we are stuck. So we have to walk, the same walk, we just have to keep going. Then I think it was a nightfall, we finally saw some farmers because then we were close to the city.
So that took you a whole day, so...
Obviously, because it was a whole morning. If we've left at midnight, when they dropped us in the desert there, the dawn was still not bright. There was still a lot of dew because they wouldn't want to leave you in broad daylight where they can be able to read their plates, you know. So it's probably less than 5 minutes journey. They just drop us, just to discharge us from where they were.
So you were at this point 3 months pregnant, no food, no water, hadn't slept in what?
Having
4
a
days?
liability going with me as well because my partner was a liability, a big one. Then we managed to, those farmers, they managed to help us to arrive in the village. I was in the truck.
So you found another truck and they managed to help you?
Yes, they were farmers, obviously, with children.
Okay.
So they took us to an uncompleted building close to their house. I was there for up to 3 months.
Wow.
Then sometimes I make their hair. They started giving me work because I was the only black lady there with pregnancy. And there's one thing about me personally. When I go to a new place, I try as much as possible to be as friendly as I could. I do have anger issue, that's for sure. But then that anger issue, I just find a way to wrap it somewhere and throw it behind me. So, and it seems to me, it later occurred to me when I started going into their houses that unfortunately, the Nigerians, because I don't want to use the black in general, the Nigerians that they've met that have come there, including the male or the females, was not as nice.
Okay.
So it is either you insult them with your language or you just... So when I was there, I try as much as possible not to even speak English. I speak French because Algerians, some of them, they speak French. And even I try to use some word in Arab as much as I could. I don't know. I just greet them. And the sweet thing about language is when you greet somebody with their language, they feel interested and they start opening up. So I stayed there for some time, but that was not our journey. We're still going. So finally decided to move to Tamaracet.
So you managed to get there, okay.
Yeah, we get to Tamaracet.
And how did you get there?
We went by bus.
So you arrived in Tamaracet, and what happened then?
Yeah, then I got a job that I have to walk 1 hour to and fro.
Okay.
Because they couldn't take a black person on the car, on the taxi.
Okay.
So for you as a black person to be able to take a taxi, you need to look for a black man that and pay like ×5 of the amount. So you pay like 32,000 Algeria dinars instead of just paying like maybe 500 Algeria dinars to take a taxi. So I have to walk 1 hour go, 1 hour come every day with the pregnancy.
Wow.
So from Algeria, we decided to go to another village because they told us that was the next step. We basically spent 6 months altogether 6 months around between 5 to 6 months altogether in Algeria, just from one village to another. And that was where I knew that it was more difficult for female because when I get to the Ensalad before, the second village before Libya, my own black brothers that from Guinea-Conakry that actually gave us somewhere to stay, multiple times tried to rape me with a pregnancy that is already like this. Oh, wow. So we have to move out from there. And
were you ever raped or? No,
they can't. I literally left my knife when I got to Libya, just the night before I took the boat. So it was with me. And the Nigerian man that I saw also tried to scam me, telling me that I cannot register my pregnancy. So I have to pay him, you call his doctor to do this. So it was when we get to Deb, the boundary between Libya and Algeria, we realized that Algerians themselves, they are just as kind as every other person. So you just need to go in I literally registered my pregnancy there. You just need to go in the hospital, they give you free medicine, they give you free treatment and everything.
Okay.
So they thought I was going to give birth there because that was the first time they gave me the date of my birth. So, oh, wow. But I didn't because a few months, I stayed like up to a month there because I couldn't have the money to cross. Then I had a friend that left to Libya and she was caught on top of the sea with her daughter, with her son. Okay. You have to be there, you can't go. And from there to Libya itself was another journey where they literally, because before I get there, I already know how to speak some word in Algeria. It was in that road that I was raped with pregnancy by a Libyan man. So the pregnancy was already like this. So it was from that Libya. And the thing is, when you go in, it's much more difficult because Before I finally moved to Libya, the same lady that I saw that told me everything about the journey, I later met her there. She was penniless.
Wow.
But I've managed to save a bit of money in there because we started converting money, Algeria dinar to Libya dinar. So we are making money from the exchange. Everything that she worked for 5 years that she has been staying there
She had nothing left.
they keep promising that they will send it to her. So she told me if I've not listened to her, my condition would have been worse because I would have given birth there. Yeah, it was after we saved up enough of the money that we can use for the transport. We took the transport at night, and we also know quite a few people because those people that was coming, I started interpreting for them. The girls that was coming to work, I look for the men for them. I buy the condom and everything they were going to use for their business. I bought it for them, and I get like ×2. I sell it ×2 for them. Obviously, they don't understand anything French, and because they came with somebody brought them literally. So they are already brainwashed that you can't go out. This is an Arab country. If you go out, the police will do this. The police will arouse you.
Okay. So
seeing me walking freely, it was kind of amazing for them. Like, how do I do it? I told them because I don't have a boss here to tell me not to go out. So I literally go to buy everything for them, and they give me my commission. Even sometimes the men that I would give to them also give me my commission as well. So that was how we started the road to Libya. And from that night, harassment started. From the minute you leave Deb and you started going to the Libya route, that's where harassment started, because for a woman, you just get to somewhere where you are under obligation to either sleep with whoever I want and as many as they could, or you fight.
Okay.
You know, so it depends on how many that you are facing and how aggressive they are.
And how often did this happen to you?
Multiple times. But then, for me, there's a limit to what you can bear as a human. Because in most of the cases, I either use money to find my way out, or you use sweet mouth to just laugh with the language and you go. But in some cases, it depends who as well. Because my pregnancy also saved me a big deal as well. So when my pregnancy became like this, 7 months pregnancy, obviously, many people start to withdraw. But then I literally see like teenagers bleeding from rape, you know, like some of them is not even rape, like forced abortion and everything. There was one that they literally was given forced abortion medicine there. And you know, you just helpless. You can't help, you can't say nothing, all you can do is just to walk away, or you know, it was horrible. And then you see the men, nothing is happening to them. Nothing at all is happening to them. So even when we were going to cross the border to get to Libya, with my pregnancy, they have to put the animal food to cover me just to make sure nobody sight that they are bringing people in the back of in the truck of the car. There were 4 boys there. Father, my baby with 3 other boys, and the heavy load covered it, just in case they passed through the border and they opened the boot. And in my case, it was too much that I could barely even breathe with the pregnancy. And we're not talking about 2 hours drive. We're talking about hours. Maybe you leave in the morning and you don't know when you're going to arrive. You can't even breathe properly. At that point, I thought I was going to give up. Like, there is no air coming in this car. So from there, we got to a camp in Libya. That was the first camp we arrived. Then the person that we were going to meet in Libya later called that camp and came to pick us up. From there we went. And then I also have to meet the challenges of my fellow Nigerians at first, because at this point they thought I was a Libyan. I was Arab, because the lady I was working with in Algeria, she was very nice. They gave me a lot of clothes, and since I was used to speaking French for like 6 months now, I've been speaking French, so they tried to abuse me with French with English all the time, and to even make it worse, one was insulting me unnecessarily with my own local language, my own local dialect.
Oh wow, okay.
So we later still became friends at the end of the day.
All right. So I think we need to wrap it up because we're a bit late, right? I don't mean to rush you. But so basically, you went through a horrendous experience from almost start to finish. Sexual abuse, physical abuse, even just verbal. I mean, people being horrible to you. How important is it, like, for events like this to happen in countries like Malta, where we have a lot of people seeking refuge here? How important is it for us to have events like Connecting the Dots that will share experiences like your own and make people aware of gender-based violence during the refuge and migration process?
I think for me, this program, Connecting the Dots, is something that should be taking place every year, like an event or a festival, because when I say I'm sharing my story, I'm literally just sharing the surface of what happened, because there is never enough time to tell what you've been through. Like some of this story that I shared here, I don't think anybody in my family have heard even half of it. They only knew, oh, it was very bad. I fought on the way. My mom said, hey, you're used to, I fight every day, obviously, before I left home. So, like, and during this event, we're going to have enough time to like share the story in person, more detailed, even if not to the end, but the part you're going to talk about, you have enough time to actually go in depth to explain in detail what happened. For example, the part of the journey of the desert in itself, there will be time. So this event in itself, we give that opportunity. So anybody that comes that have never been that have never heard these stories in life, because we've heard a lot of, oh, the river was rough, the boat capsized, this, that. But the journey, the most difficult journey, is not the boat, Libya to Europe, is getting to Libya. Because that's where children die, that's where people give birth, that's where women are being molested, that's where people are being robbed. So that's where the problem is. Because as soon as you get to Libya, you have a lot of hope. You can just decide to go back home. You can decide to wait until the river is calmed down before you cross, like in my case. I missed 2 ships because we insisted to wait until the weather was good. So you have a bit of control, let me use the word, you have a bit of control, and you can be able to predict what might and might not happen. But in the road to there, you can't. And again, I think this festival, this event, will also give many the opportunity to be able to share their story one-on-one. Because I know some people that probably will come here today and make this interview that will not want their face to show because it's going to be in the public. But with the event Connecting the Dots, there might be somebody that they feel very comfortable to share their story with. They'll feel free to be able to talk, maybe in a round circle, things like that. In that case, because for me, I believe that when you talk more about your the worst part of your life, the most devastating thing in your life, it's more of a therapy. That's what you do in therapy, basically. You just tell to somebody, she listens, she don't judge. So you just, the more you talk about it, the less the pain, because to you it become like, it gets to a point where you start to laugh over some of the things that you went through. So I think it will heal many of us who have actually been and passed through that experience. And it will also like educate people who just think, oh, you ask people, for example, people that are willing to actually continue that journey that you've told many times and say, oh, this road is bad. But then they'll feel like, you did it, I can do it. And I think that was actually the same stupidness that I followed, because I saw somebody that had sickle cell from childhood, that I saw how she suffered. And I keep telling myself, if she was able to survive and do it, why can't I? So not until I've experienced it myself, I couldn't really imagine. So it's like what we normally share on the media is just the surface of the real deal. So events like this is where we can be able to put a lot of ingredients, a lot of the main content while we are creating awareness for people who wants to take the journey, for them to know that it is better they just stay at home hungry than to actually take the journey. And we also letting the lawmakers know that we've suffered enough. At least a little bit of peace in our host country, we go a long way. A little bit of settlement. This time, you can imagine somebody that has traveled 2 years just to arrive in a place where you still have to, like, your suffer continues. So, or it's basically even worse than what you think you've passed through. So, event like this, it does a lot. It educates people that want to come. It's an eye-opener for the lawmakers and even the locals who just think, oh, let them go back. You think it's easy to go back after spending all those money and all those risks, and you go back with nothing. And it will also heal most of us that have actually experienced this thing, to give us a space to actually talk about it freely in a place where we know that we're not going to be judged. And I know in the event, it's not going to be like a formal setting like this as well. So the intimidation will be less as well.
Yeah, it's more casual. Okay. Thank you very much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
I'm sorry I had to cut you off, but we're really running late. But I mean, you're incredible.
Thank you.
I'm shocked.